but all these Marines are going to be able to focus fire so much. Now actually Ultra's moving towards the north as well. Several Ultras going to run in to engage. And Dark Swarm's coming up to help support. Also, Crackling's moving towards the 5 o'clock position alongside Ultra to support. And they're actually going to be able to possibly clear that up. Flash is going to definitely be forced to float his command center up. So many Science Vessels are going to be able to irradiate everything. He does lose his command center at the 5 o'clock. So that's some heavy economic damage done to Flash. Kwanro has been losing a lot of troops, but he hasn't lost that many bases. Since losing that upper left is going to sacrifice a lot of Ultras to, well, irradiates, unfortunately. And also going to be forced to engage at that 5 o'clock position as well. Far too few forces. Doesn't have Defilers to support. There are some Cracklings alongside Ultras. Kwanro actually moving in with even more Ultras towards the natural expansion of Flashes. Just forcing him to float that CC up, killing a lot of Science Vessels. Killing a lot of SCVs, I'm sorry. Science Vessels running up to support all over the place. And at this point, he really needs to be getting some more Scourge to help take care of those. Because there are a lot of the times, like right now, the Science Vessels are right out in the open. Get one Plague on those, and they're done. They're done. Get one Plague, get a couple of Mutilisks out there, and they're done. Kwanro trying to run up this ramp, not going to be able to accomplish too much there. Science was just waiting for random Ultras to run by that he can irradiate. Irradiating Overlords that was like going for drops. And yeah, one Overlord is just going to drop his payload and then run back. There's just a bunch of Cracklings there. One Overlord going to run right towards the new base. The Flash. It's actually... Okay, Radiate does go off. It's going to try to take this out. And this base is very vulnerable. No turrets, no forces to defend. Radiate does go off. There's one Ultra alongside a few Cracklings. Not that much there. Radiate is most likely going to go off against that Ultra. But Kwanro is actually doing a good job of keeping up production fairly well. He's putting on a lot of pressure on Flash. Flash is not able to do really too much damage against Kwanro unless he goes off to random bases. But he's lost the base at the 5 o'clock. He's only mining at his main, his natural, and his 2 o'clock base. So I think there were some forces. I'm not quite sure if the Kwanro managed to do any significant amount of damage. Kwanro actually going to spot another command center that's thinking of floating up towards that position. And just one little thing that I think might prevent Kwanro from getting a victory here is the fact that he's not been able to lower the number of Science Vessels. Actually now going to go for Overlords, thinking of going for a drop. There is a factory going to spot that, getting a lot of his Ultras irradiated as it was going in for the natural expansion yet again. There are very few SCVs. You can spot the number of SCVs that Flash has, but Kwanro getting so many of his Ultras irradiated really shouldn't have to do that. He has to be very careful how he's doing. Now Cracklings and Ultras going in at the left side has the Sciences they're ready just to irradiate one single Ultra. So at this point, Kwanro's just trying to lower the production of Flash, and he's doing a pretty good job because all of the expansion numbers, Flash has so few expansions, so few mining bases at this point, that Kwanro can just go in, try to kill as many troops as he can, sacrifice some forces to that, but every single damage he does is pretty good. And he's now actually put down a hatchery at the 5 o'clock base to prevent that one single command center floating and getting himself up. But yeah, Flash is just falling a little bit right to Kwanro's trap. Kwanro is still producing a lot of Ultras, a lot of Cracklings, still getting a lot of his forces irradiated. Now finally a Plague hitting all of his Science Vessels but one, and now the Spore Colony is going to start hitting those. Oh! Science Vessels, be very careful. 1 or 2 Mutilisks, and Flash is going to lose so many of his Science Vessels. I think a lot of either Mutalisk or Scourge are going to be flying out fairly soon for Flash. Kwanro going to go up. There was this base at the upper left. Kwanro was trying to take a dual gas, and actually another base, the natural expansion at the 5 o'clock. Kwanro's going to get both of those taken out. Upper left hand get taken out. This new base also going to get taken out. But I think Kwanro's still in a pretty good position. Also, if he manages to take out all those Science Vessels, he's going to be pretty good. He needs a Nidus Canal at the 5 o'clock base, though, to support it, like right now. Running it with a lot of Lords, but I assume have forces right inside of Flash's main. Cracklings there, gunning around, killing a lot of supply depots. And Flash is still doing some economic damage, still has Marines at the upper left, killing some drones and such, forcing Kwanro not to mine. But Kwanro not going to move towards this 2 o'clock base as well. Ultras and everything being dropped. Cracklings and Scourge ready at the 5 o'clock base to defend there. And Kwanro just managing to keep up a constant flow of forces. Constant, absolute flow of forces. Has those Mutalisks. And looking at the number of Science Vessels, I'm not seeing that many. Oh man, I think Kwanro might have just gone in with a couple of Mutas and killed everything. Crackling's moving in, trying to take out some Marines, but the Marines are still doing a pretty good job. Flash still has a pretty large number of medic Marines. Kwanro, though, is going to be able to clean up this at the 5 o'clock base with one single Ultra and not much else. I'm going to see whether Flash is actually going to move right back towards to defend that, try to take that 5 o'clock base again. Defowers are finally a decent number of Defowers in play. Kwanro didn't really start with that many Defowers. Radiate's going off on both the Devour and an Ultralisk. Kwanro has actually now cleared up the upper left hand. He's just playing very very kind of his own type of aggressive style while still playing very maneuverability, playing heavily maneuverable, and looking at Flash's main supply depots in huge numbers taken down, tech taken down, so much taken down. Just Flash going to be forced to run a lot of his forces towards this 5 o'clock base. He needs to take this out. He probably will. Nothing really much to defend. Kwanro coming in with cracklings and an ultra to help support this, but I think he lost the base anyway. But I think it's not going to be too big of a factor because Kwanro's just running around everywhere at this point. Flash still producing some forces, but some of his Raxes are not active. Still has a lot of MagicNs near that 5 o'clock base, so we should be able to take this on. Kwanro critically not having as much defaller support as he should, but still taking out so many SCVs from Flash. Flash, his main's pretty much mined out at this point, as his natural is not mining, so Flash is absolutely desperate for a base. Absolutely desperate. Oh man, irradiating his own science vessels, trying to do the eraser trick against random force to run up against the ground. He's getting his number of science vessels up again, but it just doesn't have that much. Ultras at the middle, engaging a lot of MagicNs, and I think this is the last large force that Flash has. Flash in a horrible position at this point, getting most likely just one short step away from getting himself knocked out of this MSL. One ultra running in, GG from Flash. Oh my god, the little monster gets knocked out, and Kwanro, look at how happy he is. Kwanro is going to be in the round of it. Wow, that was in its own way a very exhausting match. And Flash is not happy. Flash is not happy. Getting himself knocked out of the round of 16 in both the MSL and the OSL. Oh man, oh man, oh man. A lot of fangirls have tears in their eyes, blocking their faces. They're not happy. Oh, poor Flash. How can you disappoint your fangirls? That's just not something you should do. Man, that was absolutely exhausting game. Just watching it was like, whoa, so much happening at the same time. Yeah, but Kwanro this time doing plenty of damage with the Mutalisks. Guys, I think he's not quite crying. Well, I think he almost has tears in his eyes. He's definitely happy. And he has a reason to be. So Kwanro, surprise, surprise, getting himself into round of 8 this time. Even bigger obstacle than in the Lost Saga MSL. Flash, not Stork, but still manages to get through, man. So it's going to be real interesting to see what this guy gets to in the round of 8. We're going to be interesting to see what opponent he has. So I got to say, that was a very interesting. Very interesting. And there's going to be more round of 16 matches coming from me fairly soon. Couple of duels. I definitely think we're going to be having a couple of duels. I think I got Nuke to do some with me. I mean, it's fantasy versus Bisu and such. Come on. So yeah, Kwanro moves on. Flash is out. GG guys, ranching out. Thanks for listening. Sorry if I was a little bit sluggish this commentary. It happens.